This is David Cowen with Careers in the Business of Law. Today's conversation is a post-CGI debrief with the person leading the global legal operations community, Oyango Snell, the president and CEO of CLOC. We just spent 4 days at McCormick Place in Chicago. You could feel it on the floor that this is not the same industry it was 12 months ago. The movement of the careers and the entire tech stack has really been in flow at an exponential rate. Oyango, thank you so much for joining us. How are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to have some conversation about what happened here last week and where we're headed.
Well, let me just start off by saying congratulations. Your energy, your effervescence, and I think your authenticity on stage, really caring about this community, came across. And I just want to also say brilliant having Second City kick you guys off every day. I mean, everybody's vibe and energy just got relaxed. Whatever anxiety was in the room, just dissipated, and everybody was in. They just were in for a great ride. And then you took the stage and took command, and your entire team just crushed it. So congratulations.
Much appreciated, man. Yeah, the Second City really gave us a home run, a grand slam, so to speak. Just bringing the energy, setting the stage. For me, being back home where I'm from, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and then being on that stage at that moment in front of our community, it was a little bit nostalgic. So I think the authenticity that you speak of is me realizing where I came from. And, statistically speaking, whether or not I even belong there, we talk about imposter syndrome, but I was there. It was me, it was my team, it was everybody who really put the work in. And I really do think that we really knocked it out of the park this time around.
Yeah, but the thing that you did that was so interesting is that, here we're in an industry, we're in this legal industry, legal tech, and it's like, it's serious.
Yeah.
It's exponential. I mean, every time, whether you're listening to a podcast, you're watching TV, you're watching the news, it's like, oh my God, it's the apocalypse, it's coming, it's going to eat everybody's job. And you and your team figured out, I know what we'll do. We'll make it fun and funny to relax everybody so they can be available and present. Absolutely,
100%.
Star move.
100%. I tell my team, the work that we do, we're not saving babies and we're not killing old folks. I mean, the reality of it is it's not that deep. Like, take a beat, let's do what we need to do. It's serious, it's important work. But at the end of the day, there is life outside of what we do, and we need to keep that in mind.
There you go. So let me give you, I'll start with what I noticed. I'll give you my two, and then you give me your two. Number one, I would say, if you said to me, hey man, what was really different this year? I would say that there was a confident curiosity amongst everybody, whether you were a sponsor, a vendor, tech, services, inside counsel, outside counsel, wherever you were coming from, there was a confident curiosity. Whereas last year, I think there was an anxiety. I think not that there wasn't some anxiety, but there was a lot of confidence. Like, people have been in the seat, they've got hands on keyboards, they've got hands on tech. And so they came with that curiosity, with some confidence, with some experience. The second thing that I noticed is that we've moved from chaos to at least ad hoc, if not operational and organized, along the maturity chain. I know that you've studied that a lot. What are your two takes?
Yeah. I love the way you framed both of those, but I would say last year was my first one. I joined CLOC in 2024 of November. So last year CGI was my first one in Las Vegas. I feel that anxiety that you talk about now that I have another one to compare it to. That was my first one, so I really didn't have it at that moment. But I would say there was sort of one of my key takeaways was just sort of this togetherness, this community that really banded together. You had such an influx of communication from everyone who was participating in this conference, whether you were a law firm representative, an in-house legal team member, or someone from the legal tech community. Everybody was very engaged and posting and wanted to see this successful. And the hype was real. You know how we say the hype is not real. The hype was really real coming into CGI. How everybody bought into the messaging, how everybody bought into where we were going with Stronger by Design. So I think that was one key takeaway, that there was this sense of enhance, strengthen community. And I know we throw that word around a lot, right? And what does it really mean, community? But for me, I think it meant everybody really banding together to make this CGI a very successful occasion. I think a second takeaway that I got from that I actually took away rather from the event was the strength in content. People were engaged because the content was strong.
Yeah.
And it was diverse. It really spoke to the moment on where we find ourselves in this market of disruption and transformation as we point to our mission. Our mission is designed to enhance and transform the business and practice of law. Well, what does that mean on a daily basis? And I think that there was just a buy-in into the content that we produced for this CLOC Global Institute that really had people on the edge of their seats, not just sitting back and listening, but getting engaged, getting involved, sharing best practices, talking about how they're actually doing things, not in a theoretical policy kind of way, but how they're actually driving action.
Yeah, I think that hits it. You know what I like so much about Clock and always have, from all of the years that I have been attending and participating is whether you've got 5 months, 5 years, or 10 years plus, you know, there's a level for you. You know,
Yeah.
if you've got 5 weeks or 5 months of experience, you're going to get educated, right? So
Yeah.
the educational content at Clock is as good as it gets. It is really purpose built for 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years, and getting now to next from an educational standpoint. And once again, you delivered. So, you know, whether you deliver that at, you know, at a 5, a 7, or a 10, you know, if you're young in your career, this is the place to be. You know, if you're getting into legal operations, this is as good as it gets from a legal ops. You know, how do you get from now to next? If you've got 10 years of experience, you know, it's the hallway chats, right?
Yeah.
You learn more walking down the hallway and smashing up, which is another thing that you did extraordinarily well this year, is you compressed the space and people were in a situation where we had more opportunity to see each other and meet each other. I loved the openness of the space. I could see somebody from far away. It wasn't a shopping aisle, you
Right.
know. And so great experimentation. I thought it was terrific because I could see so much of what was going on. But I think it's important that there's a little something for everybody depending on where you are on the maturity curve. And with that, I want to get to the maturity curve and the 2026 report with productivity gaps. I want to say you did that with Harbor. Did I get that right? Did you do something?
Yeah. It was a collaboration with Harbor and CLOC, and we've been doing this for several years. And every year it's so interesting that a new theme sort of emerges.
So I saw Kevin Clem, who I've got a tremendous amount of respect for. He and his panel delivered one of the best sessions. I thought, what are the top 10? We'll give it top 10. I don't want to.
Yeah. No, they were good. They were good.
Top 10. I mean, he crushed it. Was standing room only. Do you want to recap that at all in terms of what those takeaways were? Because it was, by the way, and I said this to Kevin, you know, it's like Harbor's like dusted off the old HBR maturity curve again. Like what's old is new, and it's really, really dead on. You want to riff on that?
We saw a little bit of a shift from every year from each study, and also kind of like the data point. What has remained constant though is that legal operations professionals have consistently been told do more with less. And that's hogwash because you really cannot do more with less. You know, as economies grow, as markets shift, as things are happening around you, it's very difficult to do more with the same set of resources. I don't think we really teach or tell anybody that that's a logical way to operate, especially when you're talking about running a business. Do more with less. What we saw is you have an increased demand that's rising. You have a flattening of budgets, and you have in-house legal teams no longer just throwing money at outside counsel or at internal overhead. So there's this sort of strategic kind of deliberation happening throughout the legal ecosystem, particularly on in-house teams, of trying to understand and develop more or less mechanisms to be more effective, but also look at things that they can insource, look at ways to grow, look at ways to kind of lessen that, meet the demand, but meet it in a different way than they've done it before.
I think that's a great point, and I don't want to dissect the report. So let's just do a plug for you and Kevin and the team, and go. Where do I get that report?
The State of the Industry report can be found on the CLOC's website. And I believe Harbor also might have it on their website as well. But I know it's on our CLOC website, and they're able to look at the trends and the benchmarks that kind of play off each other, whether it's looking at AI usage, governance, AI policies, and other things that's related to it.
So let's just drop Kevin's phone number in here, shouldn't we? Let's just drop it. You ready? So Kevin Clem, right, at Harbor. It's 1-800-555-5522. That's the direct line to Clem, and I think that we should get him on the pod, don't you? I mean, shouldn't he be the next guest?
He should be. We should get him on here. He's wonderful. He's smart as hell, and
I'm
he's
throwing it down. Oyango, I'm throwing it down, man. Kevin, come on the pod.
Come on, Kevin. Come on, Kevin. Don't dodge it. Come on. We
got you. And you'll watch his back, right? You'll make sure that we're not too tough. There you go.
I'll be on standby. I'll be on call.
I like the way you went. I like where you went with expansion, and I'm with you on this. I'm going to debunk the doomsday guys out there. AI is eating jobs and AI is shrinking the market. And you know what? That would be true if the economy and the market were static. But we don't live in a static world. We don't live in the static world globally or in the United States. So we've got, an expanding GDP. We've got an expanding marketplace of $1 trillion, $2 trillion, $3 trillion projected out over the next 3 years. That's not a red or blue comment, everybody. That's just, the way the world works. If you take a look at the trillions that are being invested in data centers and compute and robotics and the rest. So if that's true, okay, if we are going to have a $1 to $3 trillion expansion in the economy, will the demand for legal services go up, down, or stay the same? $3 trillion more in GDP. Will there be contracts? Will there be real estate negotiations? Will there be commercial negotiations? Will there be new practice groups? Will there be more litigation or less litigation if we expand the economy?
It's going to be more. The demand's going to increase.
So where are all these jobs disappearing? Wait a minute. Where are all these jobs? Where's the disappearing?
I see what you did there. No, in all seriousness, you're. I don't want to say you're onto something. You're right. It's not onto something. You're right. If the market continues to fluctuate upward, if the economy continues to grow, if issues continue to percolate, if business deals continue to get done, obviously there's going to be the need for more skilled related jobs in this particular area. I tell people when people bring the doomsday conversation to me, and I love Zach Cass, by the way, because Zach Cass was our keynote speaker and on day one, and this is the exact thing that he talks about, of not succumbing to the doomsday rhetoric. But the reality of it is that I tell people AI is not going to replace jobs. People are going to replace people with jobs, and those people who are doing the replacing are going to be those who understand and leverage AI. So if you're left behind, and that goes with anything as we've grown in our society, if you're not at the cutting edge from a skill set perspective on all the tools, on all the bells and whistles that you have at your disposal in order to work a matter or counsel on a matter, then 9 times out of 10, you might not be the best person for that role. Same on legal ops, same on any job that you can think of.
If you said to me, David, where do you see one of the 5 biggest opportunities for CLOC over the next 5 years? I think you're on that mission right now, which is educating and leveling up and skilling up the future of the workforce in this space. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Demand is going to very quickly exceed supply, as evidenced by Anthropic, Ivo, OpenAI. Every vendor that was on that floor is hiring right now, and they need talent. But wait, there is no talent. There's not enough skilled talent. I mean, they need the following. So what we have historically done in this country, right, is we've skilled them up. We've trained them Well, where do you go for that training? Well, you can go online, okay, and you can go to school, and you can go to. I mean, there's Ilticon and Legal Week, and there's CLOC, and there's others. Okay, they're certainly solid, but I mean, we are going to level up 100,000 net new legalists and technologists and thought leaders in this space in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Here we
Yeah.
go. Ready? Get
Yeah.
set. Go.
Yeah, I agree. One of the reasons why we invested in taking our CLOC Academy on the road and not having it just be embedded in CGI
Yep.
is
Yep.
because not everybody comes to CGI. So if you're just relying for everybody to come to the CLOC Global Institute to get the education that they need in order to skill up, then we're doing the community a disservice. So one of the ways that we wanted to elevate this our education game, because I do believe in something that you and I talked about, is education being the new currency, is everything that you just referenced. In order to stay at the cutting edge, in order to kind of stand at the middle, legal ops professionals have ability to kind of sit in the middle and be the communicators between legal and technology. That is their skill set. That's their core kind of niche, so to speak, is that they understand that they have the relationships with the innovators and the creators of various tech tools. They have the understanding and relationships with legal and how legal functions as a business and permeating throughout the entire organization in order to drive strategic goals that helps the business, the entire business and enterprise. So through those educational components that you just talked about, whether it's solid, whether it's running legal like a business, whether it's Concero, whether it's CLOC, there's so many components that are out there. And one of my goals is really for us to all be working together in order to serve this community. And I know people like you really believe in that concept as well, because if we're not doing it, then we're doing the community a disservice as well as the industry. And I think looking at the educational opportunities that we have available, whether it's the CLOC Academy or even moving to our certification aspects, those are going to be the things where people really get to drill down, grow their skill sets, and elevate their game individually, as a team, and as a company.
Yeah, listen, if you're Kevin Clem or you're Mary O'Connell or you're any one of the other market leaders, you don't need to hear what we just said. But if you've got 5 weeks or 5 months or 5 years, we are here to say double down and get connected. Again, whether it's a CLOC event, a solid event, running legal like a business with Connie Brent, like it doesn't matter where you start. Get out of the house. Go have a cup of coffee. Never eat alone. Just make sure that you're getting up and getting out. And one thing will lead to another. And here's the other thing I'll say, and here's the other thing I love so much about CLOC and some of the other big conferences, is that you start small and you speak a little bit, even if you're an introvert, you speak a little bit, and the next thing you know, someone from CLOC or ILTA or fill in the blank is calling you and saying, hey, would you like to be on a panel? And that's how you grow a career. Get on stage, get on a panel. Thank the speakers. Introduce yourself. So I'll give a pro tip, and maybe you've got one as well, because I know that you do a lot of coaching, in your career with lots of people. So here's my pro tip for anybody that's going to any conference anywhere. Thank the speakers. It's the easiest way to get out of your introverted self, right? I grew up an introvert, hard to believe, but true. And one of the ways I learned how to do it, man, was this. I would go up and I would just simply thank the speaker. And a speaker would go like, thank you so much. And I would say, can we connect after? Can we link in? The speaker would always say, of course. And the next thing you know, I know this top person, like I'm nobody, and I would learn and grow, and I got adopted by people. People believed in me, and they said, there's something about Cowen. I like the way he thinks, and they would invite me to things. And the next thing you know, I'm getting invited, and I'm moving and then the next thing you know, I'm inviting people, and that's how you build a career in this business or any business. What advice do you want to share with the community?
So mine's is to own your professional stake. And what I mean by that is I'm a lawyer first. I just happen to be the president and CEO of CLOC, but I'm a lawyer at heart. And as when I was practicing law as a profession directly, I was involved with the local bar association, the state bar association, the American Bar Association.
There you go.
And other affinity group associations, the John Marshall Langston Bar Association, which is for African Americans in a certain region. And my thought, the reason why I say that is I got involved in everything so that I can learn the different ways that the practice of law in my subject areas were being exercised. as well as building relationships, which is what you touched on, right? Going up to the speaker, that's creating a relationship. You're saying, hey, can we get connected on LinkedIn? That's the network. The LinkedIn is the network. That's the networking aspect. Your follow-up and your interaction with that individual is building a relationship. So what I say is get involved with these various organizations within your industry and learn where you can build relationships, because you never know where your next job or your next opportunity is coming from. You never know that person that's looking at you, that sees you, see how you move, sees how you interact with people, wanting you to be on a panel, wanting you to be a keynote speaker, wanting you to do something that you don't even know is in store for you.
That's it.
And that's the relationship side of it.
That's it. I agree. Let's do a plug. You want to do a plug for CGI 27?
Let's do it.
Now let's just say I'm gonna put on my magic blinders and go, like, if I had a magic wand, where would CGI 27 be? It's gonna be in St. Louis. No, Cincinnati. No, it begins with an L. I'll bet you it begins with an L. What do you think?
I think we should go back to Las Vegas.
We're going to test it. We're going to A/B test. We're A/B test. Chicago, Vegas. All right, where are we going to be in Vegas?
We're going to be back at the Aria in Vegas. And what I am excited about is taking the successes that we had in Chicago and seeing where they're applicable in Las Vegas. Here's an example. In Las Vegas, the Aria is stacked on top of each other, right? The floors are stacked on top. It's not as spread out. In Chicago, things were spread out, but we were able to all be centralized because of the huge, big space that we had the exhibit hall in. The Aria is not necessarily configured in that way. So we'll have to figure out, how do we have that same engagement? How do we have that same interaction in Las Vegas that we had in Chicago? Because we learned from the Aria last year on just how to improve and enhance the conference flow and engagement. And we took those learnings and we took it to Chicago. Now we have to bring it back to Las Vegas and
so
really try to be successful. Yeah.
Do you need some help? Do you want some input? Where do people sign up? 2, where do they give you their comments? Where's the suggestion box?
It is actually on the CLOC Global Institute page on CLOC's website.
No, you're kidding me. You got a suggestion box on the page?
Reach out to us. Give us your thoughts.
Come on. So give me if you're listening to this pod and you can feel the vibe of authenticity, man, reach out to Oyango, reach out to him, DM him, and or link in with him. He cannot wait to hear your thoughts, man. This has been great. I know that you've got to run, and we only had a little bit of time to do our follow up.
Yeah.
I thank you so much. I know you're on the road and going here to there. I can't wait to see you on the road. I can't wait for you. Right, this is your invitation now. You ready?
Yeah. Go ahead. Give it to me.
Mark your calendar. I can see you got pen and paper. October 1st. It's a Thursday in New York. You're my special guest at Solid New York. How about that?
Done.
There you go. Maybe we can get Kevin Clem there too.
I can't speak on his behalf, but I can tell you, if he's available, he'll be there.
There you go. Hey, listen, let's do a final song. Like, what's the song that's in your head that you roll around with that just always makes you feel good?
Man, there's so many. It really depends on the mood, but I'll say I'll go with Hotel California with the Eagles, man. That's my jam.
I was hoping you would go with Hotel California. For those of you that love that, here it is. Ready? What do you think?
Let's do it.
Neither one of us has any hair.
Not anymore.
Rising up through the air, up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. There she stood in the doorway.
You know, I'll tell you what I love so much about this song is that it's storytelling at its best. It's so visual. You can see it. You can feel it. You've got the palm trees. And that's one of the keys to success. You are a wonderful storyteller, and it's the authenticity that comes through. Thank you so much for being our guest. Thank you so much for the wrap up. I can't wait to see you in New York
on October 1st. My team's going to kill me, but we're in.
Yeah, you're in, of course. Talk to you soon.
All right.
If you enjoyed this show, be sure to give us a like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your shows. And if you want to take your career from now to next, never eat alone.